The real video. Sup, Devils? J-Dog back with a fucking gang of, I lost goddamn count. So we got Scattered Remnants in the house. We got goddamn Paul Gorefiend of Embalmer and Carnage in the house. And so we had Scattered Remnants play here tonight. And he's like, yeah, you got to interview Scattered Remnants, Scattered Remnants. I'm like, yeah, dude. I mean, I remember hearing the album or whatever. Isn't that that band? We're back. I was like, I kind of don't know a whole hell of a lot about them. So why don't we ask? He's like, oh, dude, I got questions for days. He's like, I'll host the fucking interview. I was like, well, that's great. I couldn't get you on an interview, but you'll host my goddamn interview. So I was like, that's cool. I was just going to do that. So Paul's going to do a lot of goddamn questioning, and I'll come in and fuck with them as I can. So, Paul, why don't you introduce the crew, or however you said you got questions out the ass?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do. So I used to write these guys way back in the day, in the 90s and everything, from their first demo tape. So, I mean, especially, connection with Eric here, the drummer, and Ron Miles, the bass player. These are the original guys from the band. And then we got, all the rest of the fucking current dudes that are in the band. I'll let them introduce themselves.
Evan Duplessis, lead vocals.
Blue, play guitar.
Jamie Harmon, guitar.
They didn't want to introduce themselves.
I introduced them, but anyway, yeah. But for people that were in the underground scene in the '90s, that were into the brutal, like second wave, I would call it, death metal. These guys were not your run-of-the-mill bands. These guys were the Massachusetts answer to like Flesh Grind and Eternal Bleeding and Regurgitation that they played with tonight, and all that classic era of brutal death from the U.S. So I just wanted to get it started because I know a lot of your history from 94 on, but like I'll pass it to you two. When did the band actually start, and who started the band, and how did it get going?
Start. Not tuning your guitars, not when mom's basement. Start. First recording, demo rehearsal.
It was 92, shortly after we got together. It was
Mark, a little louder, I can't hear you.
Mark LeBlanc on guitar, Corey Delisle on guitar, Jay Henderson on vocals, Eric on drums, myself on bass. And we got together in 92 and then put out the Procreating shortly thereafter. Yep.
That's awesome. Now, as far as like your first shows, did you guys do a local show, or did you end up opening for somebody, one of those classic tours around 92 or 93, or like, how did that all evolve as far as from the live setting?
There was an all-age club in Fitchburg where we were from called Club 490, and they always had shows there. So we didn't actually start opening for any like the bigger bands until we probably about a year or two after that. But most of the shows were local with a lot of hardcore bands.
Awesome. So who actually like started the band? Was it Jay? Was it you? Was it Eric? Like who actually had the idea to start the band? And you went through a series of logos and everything before your current one, right? So like just take us through that early beginnings of the band and forming songs and getting a logo together and then trying to write a demo, all that Genesis type stuff.
So Jay, Corey, and Mark had started jamming. The stuff they were doing was kind of more heavy metal, kind of more thrash, I guess. I met them at a show at 490. They asked me to come down and start playing with them. That's when we started writing some of the stuff that was on Procreating. And then Eric joined shortly after.
Yep.
Right. And that first primitive logo that I did was horrible, but we used it. And we just took it from there. Started just playing as many local shows as we could. Any shows, national tours that came through that we got offered, we jumped on. But I was just practicing 3 or 4 days a week, and just trying to write, the best stuff that we could at the time.
How about you, Eric? What kind of memories you got from those days?
It was awesome. Just I don't know, it was something in playing in Ron's basement and just really having a lot of fun. One funny story is Jamie over here. I don't know if you want to know how he got in the band. So I was coming down to practice, and we needed another guitar player. And I went to one of the music stores near our practice space, and as I was ready to open the door, he walked out, and he had like hair down to his ass, and he had like I think a Death shirt on or something. Napalm Death, and I'm like, dude, like I swear to God, this is how it happened. I said, dude, you want to be? I got a band that we're in. You want to play guitar? And he said, yes. He actually followed me to this Ron's house, and the rest is history. Didn't kill him. Yeah, I mean, like literally, like a minute of not passing each other, and Jamie wouldn't be here. So.
Well, you know what? That doesn't surprise me because you actually wore a Napalm Death shirt on the inside of a Scum shirt, actually, on the inside of Unhearing Perversion. So, you know, back in the day when people actually bought shit and you actually opened the CD and study what shirts people are wearing and read the thanks list and all that, you know, I remember that about that. You know what I mean?
I had that mustache
when you had a mustache back then, you know what I mean? You had the Ron Jeremy going on. Yeah, he had the mustache going on. Yeah, Eric. Yep, chilling in the back. Yep. So, like, for you two, before we move on to the other guys and everything, man, like, take us to that early Massachusetts scene, you know, that whole New England area. Like, once you guys got established and you put out the Procreating, you know, Mass Carnage demo tape, which, by the way, has some of the sickest highs ever. I want to talk about that studio session for real. Like, how did Jay approach that in the studio to create highs that fucking sick? I mean, for real, dude.
You want to answer that one?
He just wanted to do like the high shrieks, but wanted to see how, you know, sing as high as he could, and that's what came out.
We thought he sounded like.
Well, since this guy's so damn sick, where the fuck's he at?
Just doing other things in his life, and just didn't want to.
Is he like in the metal scene at all anymore? Does he do any other projects or?
No, he's not in music anymore. But I still see him from time to time.
He's burnt out, huh?
Yeah.
He came to our first show when we played in New York.
Yeah. No,
yeah. So does he give you 2 thumbs up since you're on the death throat now?
Yeah, for sure.
It's approved. Are your shrieks just as sick?
Well, yeah. I mean, I when they came to me to sing, it was like they asked 2 people, like, because Jay wasn't gonna be able to do the reunion. Like they said, he's just older and has a family and stuff, and was supporting the band playing, but they needed a singer, and he just really wanted to be the right guy. But when they started asking people, like, who should we get, like, locally that can do Scatter Remnants, and he has two guys that we know, our buddy Josh, and I forget who else. Somebody, but they both said me, so they were just like, well, I guess we'll get this Evan guy to try it out. But because Scatter Remnants was like such a huge influence on me locally and just in my own bands, that, you know, I had patterned my guitar playing and my vocals after Jay anyway, going from really low to really high kind of shrieks, like trying to. I could never reach what Jay did in the 90s because he was like 23 years old, you know, and like shrieking that high. But I just work, you know, like repetition, try to go from low to high, and yeah, I just do my best to do that Scatter Remnant style. You know, I don't fuck around. Lyrics I'm writing are Scatter Remnant style lyrics. Vocals are Scatter Remnants. I'm not gonna do any tricks, do my own style, throw in a thrash vocal or anything. You know, it's like just that. Yeah, well, yeah.
I was gonna ask the next question. I was falling asleep during Paul's questions, so we'll pass this around. Since you got the most class, you got the best shirt on in the goddamn building. We'll start with, I ask everybody this, and I don't want the goddamn stupid ass politically correct answer. I want your honest answer, and nothing stupid. And I don't know is what's the greatest death metal album of all time? We're gonna pass this around. I want to learn something about you guys. I want to see what an answer is.
You want me to start?
Yeah. My shirt gets to start.
My first one, when I was 11, scared the shit out of me, the vocals, and I was obsessed with it, was Obituary's Cause of Death.
Okay. That's an acceptable answer. Next guy.
Pierced.
Pierced from Within.
Okay.
Yeah, it's no question. Brutality, songwriting, top notch. The guitar playing is just the riffing. It's everything that I want in a death metal album, period.
And back front of the next homie.
I'm
he
here
can't hear you with the
Evan.
phone.
Me and Evan actually just talked about this earlier on, and we're like, you know, that kid in the very first time I heard Chopped in Half by Obituary was like All right, I'm a death metal guitar player.
So Cause of
no
Death
more
was like-
warrant, no more.
So Cause of
You
Death was
don't-
like the
you
life
know-
change. That was like the life changing record for you.
Moving on, moving on. I wanna be the dudes that just play Chopped in Half on the fucking radio. You know what I mean?
So that would be your Abandoned Island obituary, Cause of Death.
What's that?
That would be your Abandoned Island album obituary,
Yes,
Cause of
like
Death.
what
If you had to pick one, yeah.
got me going into this?
James Murphy, you know.
Uh-huh.
Murphy solo.
For me, it's Dismember, like an ever-flowing stream.
This guy's got the best answer so far. Come on, can you
For
top
me?
that?
No, probably not. It'd probably be Effigy of the Forgotten.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all albums I like.
Suffocation albums?
Yeah, I mean, all albums I like.
For
Yeah,
obituary?
yeah.
Wait, what's Paul?
Yeah, what is Paul? What is Paul's?
I don't know. There's so many.
I don't want to hear. I don't know.
You just said you can't say.
I don't know.
Death metal record.
One of them. Just pick one. God damn it.
Um,
A really, really.
Deicide Legion.
Yes.
And then what's Justin's? Come on.
Cannibal Corpse, Tomb of the Mutilated.
All right. That's my favorite cannibal.
Yeah, of course. So, what other questions you got for him, Paul? Because I don't know shit about him apparently.
All right, so when you get into like 95 and all that, and you're putting out Inherent Perversion, which is probably, would you say that's your most known release, even over Procreating, or would you say they're about equal?
No, I would probably say that's most well known.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a little bit, I mean, to me, there was bands from Cleveland called Decrepit, and you're probably familiar with.
Oh yeah.
The thing that I think set you guys apart from other standard death metal is that, like you said, you have the variance in the vocals. You had a little bit of melody, but not too much, where it was like teetering on the black metal or, you know, Gothenburg type end. But you didn't just have straight chunk, but you had enough chunk without the slam where it was very unique. So that's kind of what drew me to you guys in the 90s, was just like, man, here's a band that's kind of similar to some shit that I like from Cleveland. It's dark, it's heavy, it's got a little bit of melody, but it's not, you know, sissy type shit. And these guys fucking totally kick ass. Varied vocals, ready to go. So, you know, when it came to Inherent Perversion, did things start really happening for the bands? You get to start opening for some bigger tours. And, you know, what was that era like around 94, 95 for you?
Yeah. So around that time, we were getting on a lot of the bigger shows. We weren't touring, but locally we were. You know, I mean, we opened for Cannibal Corpse, Suffocation, Vader, Dismember, Malevolent Creation, Deicide. I'm trying to think of who else. Benediction, Bolt Thrower. Just any of the bigger tours that came through the area. You know, Jesus, I'm trying to blank on the other bands. But
Can I put a fun fact in?
sure. Oh yeah, sorry.
Fun fact: the opening kind of lead riff on Inherent Perversion, the like epic kind of lead, Eric, the drummer, wrote. It kind of sounds like Bolt Thrower. So that opening riff on Inherent Perversion,
Amidst the Afterbirth.
yeah, and then Miss the Afterbirth, drums wrote it. So fun little factoid for you.
So since those were self-release, you know, demos, and then it came to CD and everything when it came to Inherent Perversion, do you remember or know off the top of your head how heavily traded or how many copies that sold of the, you know, how many demo tapes of Procreating Mass Carnage you think were moved? How many CD versions of Inherent Perversion do you think were moved? Because those are both total self-releases without, you know, label support. So
Yeah, I trying to remember how many we made. Jay was handling most of the tape trading and sending out to distros and radio stations and all that. So, I don't know, maybe upwards of 500, maybe between 500 and 1,000, but I'm not really quite sure.
I mean, I gotta think there's more than 1,000 Inherent Perversions out there. There has to be.
There could be. I really don't remember how many we made, but I know
Okay.
it wasn't thousands and thousands. But
And like when it came to me writing you guys and everything, man, like I wrote you on the first tape, but what I thought was total underground and something that doesn't happen right now is you guys had all your merch listed on the inside of Inherent Perversion. Like, write us for the profanation of Christ long sleeve.
Yep.
Write us for, you know, free stickers. Write us for the vaginal vomit blue long sleeve, which is pretty sought after these days.
Yeah.
You know, so I wrote you guys, got a whole bunch of merch. And you guys really were an embodiment, in my opinion, of what 90s underground really was. Self-released shit, write us for the fucking merch, and cool shirts and and thanks list when you opened it up. I mean, that's the stuff that made me really interested in stuff back in the day, not to mention the great ass music. So that's the demo era. So move us along. Actually, I'll ask you a couple things if you want to answer. So this is my second time seeing you guys, right? And I'm wearing the Michigan Death Fest shirt from 95 when I actually did get to see you guys. But I was supposed to see you in 95 at the Cleveland Death Fest. And I was supposed to see you in Champaign, Illinois around 95 or 96. Then I was supposed to see you in 1998 in the original Ohio Death Fest lineup. Yep. And none of those shows materialized. So I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but if you can give any explanation on why any of those shows didn't happen, that's just topic of conversation.
No.
For all of us big fans, we would love to know as big fans.
No, at around that time, we never. It was always lineup changes. There was a period of time where Eric wasn't in the band for a while. He did come in. You came in to record, right? But even then, you were still with Desolate, more or less.
Yeah.
And so it was just it mainly came down to just having a steady lineup. We had offered early on. Jamie from Hatebreed asked us to go out with them, on like one of their first tours, and we just didn't have a lineup at the time, or a steady lineup. So it really comes down to that. I wish I had a more creative answer.
Lineup problems.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add to that, Eric, or is that pretty much cover it?
That covers it.
Right.
Yeah.
So speaking into that, it's actually a good parlay and transition to the next question. So, you guys, the most classic shit, obviously, is the first two demos, right? I mean, Procreating Mass Carnage and Inherent Perversion. Now, like you said tonight, there is a full-length album that came out on Repulse Records through Dave Rotten, Destined to Fail, that doesn't have either of you guys on or other. So, like, was that just Jay, kind of moving the band along at that time? And, if you want to speak on any of that kind of era and what kind of led to that, I mean, if not, we understand.
Yeah, so at that time, we were writing a lot of the stuff that was on Destined. Jamie was in the band. I was in the band. I don't think you weren't playing with us then. No, we didn't really have a drummer, so Jay would get on the drum set. Keep pretty basic beats, but
Jay can drum too.
Yeah,
he was the original drummer.
Yeah, so he would be able to help as far
like
as
John Gallagher,
as far as writing the stuff. And then I got the boot not too long after that, and then.
But they practiced at his house for a long time. Remember that?
Oh yeah, I still let him jam at my house for like a year.
Jam, I'm out of the band, but go ahead. You still jam at my house. Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, I honestly, and so then Jamie was still with him for a bit, and then I don't remember what the hell happened, but that's when it ended up just being the three guys that are listed on the album. But it's funny because I wrote, I'd say, more stuff for that album than the other two releases.
And you guys weren't credited on any of that at all, or are you? I don't know if you are or not. I don't remember.
A lot of times back then, we just credited it as the whole band, but I wrote the lyrics for one of the songs on Destined, so I think I was credited for that. But a lot of times we didn't try and break up credits. It was more or less just, as the band. But yeah, until Evan said that, it didn't even dawn on me that nobody in the lineup right now was even on that album. Until he said that tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of dawned on me the same thing. I thought at least one of you were, but I'm like, wait a minute. No, they're not.
No, but I know Jamie wrote a lot on that. That's on Destined, and I wrote some stuff for it, and so.
So they say you guys did the one album, and then you were gone for a long time. I knew that. Like, so what were you guys doing, and like, why did you decide to come back? Like, what was your incentive and motivation to come back?
So off and on, we talked about it over the years, but nothing really materialized. And one night, Eric and I went to see a Merciful Fate tribute band down in Rhode Island one night. And before we went, had a couple beers, and he was just like, "Hey, if you ever want to jam that stuff again, let me know." And I didn't think Eric had any interest in playing it because you hadn't played for a while. And that's kind of when it was like, yeah, maybe we should try this. And then he contacted Rob Settergren, one of the older guitarists, and the two of them started jamming, and then they pulled me in. And at first, I think the plan was just to jam, just to see what would happen, because I was rusty. I don't know about the two of them. And then we kind of started seeing, we're like, hey, this could work. Let's see what happens. Why not?
What year was that?
That was 2018 when we started. And then everything went to shit.
So you've been back about since 2018, and have you done any like fests or anything like that?
Yeah, we played 2 years ago. We played MDF.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, we played Into Darkness Fest at Redefining Darkness.
Oh yeah, I was at. Yeah, okay, yeah.
We did that. We did the Nexus Death Fest in Philly, and was that it? And then
for Fest, I think that was it for Fest. Yeah.
Okay.
Regional local shows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What 20 minutes, Paul? You got anything else?
Yep. So give me your favorite bands from the classic scene back in the day, Massachusetts. I mean, we're talking the other Exhumed. He's a big Exhumed California fan, so educate him on the Massachusetts Exhumed and some of the other great bands that came up from the area that people might not be that familiar with. Tyrant Trooper and whatever else you want to mention.
From New England area, Chris. Rancid Christ from Rhode Island. Tyrant Trooper from Connecticut. There was Exhumed from Mass. Engorged from Worcester, Mass. They were really good.
Living Impaired. I used to love that band.
Living Impaired from Maine.
Holy shit, I'm on the loop. I haven't heard any of this stuff.
Delusion.
Infestation. Mike.
Mike DeSalvo's first band.
Yeah.
And Delusion was Brian Bergeron and Kernagia now.
And
You gotta give some love to Desolate.
Desolate, yeah.
Jeremy Desolate, my man.
Other band, yeah. Eric was on the first. How many?
The first two.
First two demos.
Phlegm, Head Rot, all that, of course, the OG shit.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Lacrimator is a band from Massachusetts that a lot of people don't know. And if you can track down their fucking EP, if you can track it down. It was like early Monstrosity, just blazing solos.
7-inch EP?
It never came out. One of the guys I think went to jail and it just never came out. But it did. It's out there. Like you can find it. Yeah. And
so there's nothing to actually track down. Just track down the online tracks. Actually.
Yeah. Just if you can find it on my hard drive at home where it's nowhere else,
upload that shit.
No, didn't have this. Nah. Oh, and Eternal Suffering was for like our era. Goratory is like a classic death grind band. And our brothers we came up with. So Porphyria. Blue used to be in a band called Porphyria that was really good. So many.
Yeah, we spent a lot of times as younger guys